Well, hey there, babes. How are we doing today? Wowie, wowie, wowie. Okay, I'm gonna get this set up. I think I fucked with it. At some point. So now it doesn't want to stay in the place where I put it. Stay there. Nope, still not doing it. Okay, hold on. What's up? Hello, there's some folks in the YouTube chat. I think Star has gone now, but Star came in earlier, was here in the super early gang and said, stopping by to say that the mall that I work at got shot up last night. That's really got me thinking. Please spend some time with family and friends today if you can. Holy shit. It's like all across the country, mass shootings all the time. And it's you know, the degree of separation gets smaller and smaller, even as someone who lives in a place where there aren't very many mass shootings. So anyway, Decoy Duck with the gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Killing 5 names to celebrate defending my dissertation and becoming a doctor. Duck, did you, okay, are you actually defending your dissertation like this week? That's fucking really exciting. Oh my God. What is your dissertation on? Oh, you already defended on Friday. Ooh, do you think it went well? That's exciting. Oh, that's good stuff. And thank you for the dono. Seriously, that's really exciting. You passed. Yes, Decoy Duck. Now a doctor. You got that. You're like official PhD now, right? Like they're gonna give you like a piece of paper or something that's gonna make it really, really official. But that means like you are a doctor now, right? That's fucking super cool. That's legit. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's such an awesome thing. Okay, let me adjust this. Whoop-a-pow-pow! There we go. Number go up, burr. That's always an exciting time of day as well. Number go up, burr. Oh gosh, let me close a couple windows that I don't need open at the moment. Oh gosh, so yeah, but also yeah, continuing the hellos because we kind of I'm skipping that part. EB, hello, EB the Purple, hanging out and saying to like the stream. That's a true fact. We're doing pretty well so far at the beginning of stream here. So yeah. Win, we got DZXN, hello, Spacer's Choice, we got Phoebe G. Yeah, the pumpkin again. I really need more hoodies. It's quite strange that my repertoire of clothing now as a streamer is like I need more sweatpants and tank tops and hoodies because that's what I wear. Like I wear a tank top underneath almost all the time and then just because you know what? I used to wear a lot of t-shirts and I've realized that I really don't like the way that t-shirts like fit on me, especially because a lot of them are not female cut. You know, a lot of my t-shirts are unisex cut and they're just so loose and it's like really uncomfy. So I have a bunch of t-shirts that I still like the logo on them, but I don't want to wear them. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that. That's gonna be fun. Anyway, also Allie was in here earlier. Yeah, and hello Jellyby, hello Mama Mephistopheles. Yeah, Mr. or Ms., that's Doctor. You could just introduce yourself as Doctor now. That's so exciting. The Doctor, even. Hey, what's up, Baphomet? When I move into my solo apartment, I'm going to keep it as cold as possible so I can wear snuggly clothes 24/7. So here's the thing. I don't like wearing snuggly clothes all the time, actually. It's just that it's not like I cannot keep the apartment warm enough. Like I can't keep my place warm enough to like accommodate how my body temperature sits when I'm just sitting here doing my work, you know? So, and also, yeah, so like the fucking energy prices. Anybody else with the energy bills this winter? Like maybe wander around to see if you have drafts. Yeah, so I did definitely have drafts in at least one of my windows. There was a very clear, noticeable like, and it was not fucking pleasant. So I got some caulking cord. That's, you know, you can like stick it and then like push it and then like leave it and then you can remove it later so that later on I can remove it. Yeah, caulk. I went through a 3/4 length sleeve phase. Oh, that's so tough. Like, what do you even do with those shirts afterwards? I only have a couple, which is fine. I'm like wearing long sleeves, but I always do hike them up to here. But I don't want to wear clothes that are made like this. That sucks. I don't know. It's weird. My energy bills will likely spike in the summer. It's like 90 degrees on an average day for the next 5 months. Yeah, that's the part that I'm not super psyched about, is trying to pay, because like my electric bill was also pretty high this winter, and I think that was because maybe just because the air being on and the pushing of the air, that's electricity. So maybe I just, I'm realizing that I cannot have my house be as warm as I want it to be in the winter. And so I'm just going to enjoy being a bit of a lizard in the summer. I think I have the AC set right now to like 77. So that, and we're doing this great fun thing lately where it's getting pretty cold at night and then it's getting pretty warm during the day. And it's warm enough that like, if I were to try to maintain temperature overnight, it would need to be like the heat would be on overnight. I mean, that's how I would like to be. That would be comfortable. That's what I've been doing all winter. So that when I wake up, I don't feel cold. You know what I mean? I don't want to get out of bed into a world that's cold and sucks. But I've like this past week, because it's getting warm enough during the daytime that like the air conditioner has to kick on and work pretty hard, if earlier in the day than it would otherwise, because I've been heating up the house. So if I keep the house at like, if I just turn the air off overnight is basically what I've been doing. Turning the air off overnight, it's going to drop into the 60s in here, which is not going to be pleasant for me. But then I'll put on my layers. I just can't reasonably like continue paying for the air being on all the time, I hear that if you put reflective tint or foil on the windows, it reduces heat and energy bill. Yeah, I've done foil on the windows before for nighttime purposes. Because here's another thing. I used to work overnights for like 3 years. So what you can do is you can take your aluminum foil and like put it over the window and like make sure that there's no, seams, like, make sure there's overlap. And that will just completely negate all of the light. But I like having the option of having the light, and I have a lot of plants that I want, that are like near windows. So I have actually been sort of consolidating my plants down so that they're in one central location, which will give me the option, if I want, to cover the windows in a more kind of permanent way. Because it's super reflective. I might consider it. We'll see. Yeah, there's 2 seasons now. High electric bill during the winter for the heating and a high electric bill in the summer for the AC. Yeah. I have all my plants in one place. Yeah, I've basically managed to consolidate them all into one general area with like a couple of windows, in that one space. And they've got their supplementary plant lights, which is super helpful, just to give them a little bit more juice. I love my plants. They make me happy. Truly. Okay, I feel amazing lately, and I have like PTSD and a lot of associated. I have BPD, y'all. I don't talk about it very much on stream, and it's been a long enough time. There's plenty of new people here. You might not know that I have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, but like I have fucking mood disorders, and I just feel amazing because I think here's the reasons. I've been weightlifting, which, I think that if you're working out and you're doing something that's like not really pushing you, that it's not going to confer the same benefit. So like if you're going for walks, but they're like kind of leisurely walks, and it's like a bit of cardio, but it's not really like making you feel like you exercised when you get done. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not that you feel tired and shitty, but like the sensation that you've just fucking exercised and now you need to like eat and do some like chill activities, that like feeling that you get. I think that you need to induce that feeling in yourself more. That's one of the things. Also, on account of the fact that I'm working out in order to build muscle, I've been eating like plenty of food. More than enough food, because I'm trying to gain weight. I'm trying to put on muscle. I need some more tank tops that I can wear in the house and wear on stream, because like I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to think that there's a physical change happening and I want to show it off. But yeah, I'm trying to build muscle, and that requires you to eat a lot of food. That's a thing that's going to help you feel better. Drinking less alcohol also has a marked effect on your well-being. So, I mean, it feels dumb because I feel like, you know, that's the advice that every fucking doctor gives you for, like when you come into the doctor and you're like, I have depression or something, and they tell you like, oh, you need to exercise and eat more. And you're like, okay, you're like, I know conceptually that those are things I'm supposed to be doing, but it just feels like really cheap advice. You're like, I don't think that's going to solve my fucking problems, dude. Like, I don't think that going for a run is really going to solve my problems. And it is true that like it takes a few weeks for it to kick in. Also, I think personally that if you're doing too gentle of an exercise, it's not going to confer the benefit that you're looking for. I also understand that it can kind of introduce other issues in terms of like, if you're not making progress, people can be like, can feel defeated, or like if they focus on how they are looking, and like if it's not changing fast enough, if they're focused on losing weight and they're not losing weight fast enough, it's like, no, you literally just need to be doing something that's kind of pushing your physical limits a bit, and if you can do that without harming yourself, and it's just like going to chemically make you feel better. That's what it is. Chemically, it's going to make you feel better. But it felt like such cheap, stupid advice that it was easy to just not take it for such a long time, or because the advice was not specific enough. Like, you need to get an app that counts calories and make sure that you are getting a minimum amount of calories and like stick to that. Treating my ADHD also helped with sticking to some of these things, for sure. I ought to exercise today, for sure. I skipped it yesterday. As if being on a schedule helps me, like if I'm, I missed the day I had my IUD removed, I did not do an exercise that day. And then I wasn't like, I'm going to make up this exercise on Saturday. So, I mean, it kind of just depends on what system you're working with. Yeah, if I'm pep talking you into doing exercise, I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, it's, it feels dumb that it took such a long time to do such basic things that do make such a big difference. And here, I posted on Reddit about this. I posted an r/unpopular opinion because I'm not on Twitter on my phone anymore. I removed Twitter from my phone. So if I'm waking up in the morning and I'm dicking around on my phone, it's like Reddit and Facebook is where I'm at. I'll catch up on what's going on with my friends on Facebook, maybe see a few political posts. And, oh, hello! The website was open, but the video didn't autoplay, so I am here now. Welcome, Gayfesh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But I posted on r/unpopular opinion about how, like, your depression doctor was right about exercise. And I was addressing that feeling of resistance that I used to have to doing exercise, and how, like, silly that is now that I've started doing it and it's conferred, like, a genuine benefit. And someone was like, you can't just tell depressed people like, oh, you need to just choose to do differently. Like, they're not capable of choosing to exercise because it's a chemical imbalance. And I'm not even going to get into it with this person about the fact that we don't actually have, like, I don't think we actually do chemical tests to determine anything about depression, or I don't even think the initial existence of the concept of depression has been corroborated by chemical tests. But I'm not even going to get into the whole process, the whole conversation that we've already been having recently with gender dysphoria and like diagnostic process. Does depression even exist in this way that like the construct has been created that, oh, it's a chemical imbalance, you just need the right pills? Or is that like obfuscating that the actual problem is like a complex socioeconomic, sociopolitical one? Which is something that I think is worth discussing. But I didn't even go there with this person. What I went after was like, do you really, like, what do you think is going to happen if you tell depressed people that they are categorically incapable of taking basic steps to better their lives. Like, I'm sure that held me back for a while, because it's like, oh, it just feels like I was like, I can't function, and I need to get to a base level where I can then do these other things. Like, you know, a depressed person might also have a difficult time brushing their teeth. And a depressed person might also have a difficult time going to therapy. But to say that they're categorically incapable of taking that step, like, to me, it's just you're instilling helplessness in people. You're making it more likely that they're going to just want to kill themselves, because there's just no incentive. If you keep thinking like, oh, I can't exercise because I just need to get my pills right, and then I'll be at the right baseline to start exercising, and then I'll start to feel better. Like, that's not how it works. And that is the mindset that I was in for such a long time. And I think it really holds people back. And like, I do think that if you're having like severe issues, you know, that you are going to have difficulty doing those things. But like, on a good day, you might be able to brush your teeth. And saying like you are categorically incapable of choosing to make basic choices, like, you could, on a day that you are not feeling as shitty, convince yourself to go for a walk. Happy Egg Chocolate Day, Venusian. Thank you. Hello, Anansi. How are my lovely gays and allies? I think that we're doing fairly well so far today. Yeah, I'm having a really good time, and that's kind of why we're talking about like depression and stuff, is because I think that I feel a lot better because I'm taking a lot of actual like steps to make myself feel better, you know? It's not that we can't, it's that we don't have it in us at the moment. Yeah, like you can whoa, shit, I spilled my coffee everywhere. You can have maybe like not every day you're going to feel up to it, but on some days you might be able to, like, you might be like, oh, well, I need to go to a place and it's fairly close. I could drive there or I could walk. Maybe I'll just make the choice to walk. But to insinuate that that a person who has mental health struggles literally is incapable of choosing differently in their lives, I don't know. I'm obviously, I don't want to put it all on individual responsibility and bullshit. Like, that's not what my goal is. But it is just to say that as a person who has experienced this, it will help you more than you think it will. That's all I'm trying to say, basically. I had a therapist who said that you should use antidepressants to get yourself stabilized enough if you find you can't get those things started, but that those things are probably going to help you more in the long run. Yeah, I think that's fair. But I do think, like, I spent 7 years having just a bunch of different antidepressants thrown at me and, like, different anxiety meds. And that was actively bad for my health and didn't help me in ways that, like, therapy would have helped, first of all. And also, like, probably being able to take care of myself physically would have helped a bit, too. Went to the Idaho rally dealing with the trans minors legislation. Depressed me for the next 5 days. Now I'm sick. Oh, that's no good, Anansi. Oh, I haven't... I'm sure... I don't know what specifically is going on in Idaho, but I'm sure it's the same as everywhere else across the country. It's fucking here in Kansas now. What is up, Amy? What is up, party people? I think incremental building of habits is a better approach than just being told, go diet and exercise. People have a tendency to try and throw themselves in at the deep end and then burn out. See New Year's resolutions. Yeah, exactly. Like having a lack of specific direction. Like having a therapist who was helping work with me on like finding what the exercise was that was gonna make the difference. But like this concept that I've been talking about since a couple weeks ago is not one that I've seen people talk about. Like that there's like a different types of exercise that you could be engaging in. And if you're not exercising, like getting your body moving is one thing, but if it doesn't feel like you have exercised at the end of it, I don't actually know if it is ever going to confer that benefit. I was doing calisthenics for 6 to 8 weeks. I was doing body weight exercises and it did not feel like this. Not until I started weightlifting and like pushing that and like trying to incrementally get better every week. My sister is one of the medication only kind, and well, it fucking shows. Yeah, which is, so it's not to say that medication is not going to potentially be helpful. Like, I'm not against meds at all. I just think that, you know, we should try harder to give people like agency, you know, to be like, hey, you can get better. You can do these things. Here's how. Start here, go forward. You might have to try a couple different things to figure out what works, you know. It's worth noting that the chemical imbalance theory isn't technically totally incorrect. The notion that it's a myth is often used as a conservative talking point, often used to discredit the notion that antidepressants won't work. The human brain is stupidly complex. Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just about your brain. You know, I acknowledge that that is a conservative talking point. So it's important to be nuanced when you're having this discussion. But like, there's also the diet part of this, and like, diet is such a tricky thing to talk about, but I think that the thing that people get tripped up on is that, like, I mean, it's hard to eat well in America, and the fact that there's a bunch of shit in our food makes it really difficult, and a lot of us are probably not eating the right amount, whether it's not enough or it's too much. Like, stress, I know for me, definitely makes it hard for me to eat. For other people, it makes them overeat. And like, having the right gut biome, because your gut creates serotonin in your body. So there's thought that maybe it's not just about serotonin in your brain, but it's also about the serotonin in your gut. Also, it can be difficult to not have tasty treats. I know. Yeah, I'm lucky right now because I'm bulking and I'm trying to gain weight, that sometimes I'm like, shit, like I haven't eaten enough calories today. You know what? I actually need to eat cookies in order to get to my goal. But then in a couple months, I'm going to start to do a cut, and I'm going to need to cut that down. And it's going to be tough. Hello, Spirit. Welcome back. Good to see you again. A balanced diet is important. Luckily, there's things like AG1. Not a sponsored ad, I swear. I'm not familiar with AG1, I don't think. Pumpkin sweater. How much do gym memberships usually cost? Also, how does one find a good gym? I am on like a family plan thing that someone else is paying for at my gym, basically. So that is something, yeah, that is worth mentioning. When I'm talking about it to other people, I'm trying to focus it in on like the difference between walking and running more so than the difference between calisthenics and weightlifting. And even, I think even with the calisthenics, like part of it was just that I was letting off the gas before I should have. And I should have maybe been working out harder, like going longer. Because you're supposed to do, like, our goal is to get to 50 wall push-ups 3 times, you know, with only your body weight against the wall. And that, like, I think that part of the issue might have been just that I was stopping before the point that I should have. Hello, Max. Welcome in. Might have a disordered eating problem. I keep ending up binging every couple weeks, and the meantime is very stressful. Yeah, that is something that's tough to deal with, for sure. I might be jumping ahead, but with the talk about learned helplessness, the need for self-improvement, and the title of the stream, are we going to get into critique of slave morality? I feel like I've heard of slave morality before, but I don't remember what it refers to. But no, I mostly just wanted to acknowledge that it's Easter in the title of the stream, and then I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about today. I don't even really want to go in depth on Christianity. If you haven't noticed, like, sometimes the titles of the streams are really relevant to the content. Like, and at first I used to be like, Idaho, Tennessee, like, and I would put like several different things in the stream title so that people would know, like, this is going to be a broad, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. But nowadays I'm kind of like, I'm just going to give the stream like a random title, and sometimes they're relevant and sometimes they're not. Today, it's mostly just acknowledging that it's Easter. I'm like not sure if today is going to be a very bumpin' stream because it's Easter anyway. Did you get a chance to watch those videos? Which ones? Which ones? The title felt kind of prescient for me. I met and hooked up with a Christian guy last night, which is unusual. He's leftist and cool, and his church sounds cool. I'm just used to being around atheists. Yeah, I I would not be enthusiastic about dating in this time in my life, partially because there are just so many fucking things. Like, I don't know if I would be, like, I would not be really interested in dating a Christian in general, I think. And it would be, like, a difficult thing for me to get around. And, like, maybe that's shitty of me, but I'm just acknowledging that, like, I kind of think Christianity is a little bit weird, and I don't know how I would feel about being in a not just Christianity, I guess. Like, I don't want to focus in too hard on Christianity. Like, if they were a Muslim and if they were like a really cool Muslim, like, it doesn't really matter which religion it is, or even if you're a pagan. Like, I consider myself an atheistic pagan. If you are a pagan who takes that too seriously and actually thinks that there's some real shit, I would not want to be in a relationship with that kind of person either. So I just don't really want to date, I think, is what it comes down to. Like, I cannot really see myself ever dating again in the future at this time. So that's interesting. That's an interesting feeling to have after being, like, polyamorous for years. And yeah, it's weird. You need to increase the angle towards parallel when you're doing vertical push-ups. I started with wall, went to bed height when I was doing physical therapy with my torn rotator cuff. Yeah, I was doing a calisthenics program that was going to build up. So, like, once you got to doing, like, a certain number of wall push-ups, then you would switch to, like, a slightly greater incline. And then, like, instead of trying to jump into doing push-ups. I do think some people can be I don't always check my Discord messages. Sorry, Spirit. I kind of find it very difficult to deal with my anxiety about DMs. Don't know why. So if you're like my friend, I'm likely to respond to you, but not guaranteed to respond to you. Not even my partner can guarantee that I will respond within a couple hours. I might even, like, see that I've gotten a message and be like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, do you have any thoughts on Quakers? Quakers are cool as shit. I have, as it's been explained to me, I don't even know that Quakers really believe in, like, anything that I would disagree with conceptually. If you just think that, like, the universe has vibes, I am okay with that. Yeah. So the only Quaker I've ever heard talk about their Quakerness is, who is it? What is her name? Jessica Kelgren Fozard. If you have never seen her before, maybe I'll just pull up a picture. Jessica Kelgren Fozard, she's British and a lesbian and disabled and deaf and a mom with her wife, and she talks about history, and she's a Quaker, and she's very fucking based. And she's gorgeous also. Yeah, that's another factor that is probably doesn't hurt when it comes to watching her content. She's great. I have no issues with Quakers. They're cool people. I mean, I don't even really have an issue with Christians, to be clear. I have an issue with Christianity. I would say I don't have an issue with Quakerism as it's been explained to me, you know? Quakers made penitentiaries? Really? She's just so good at explaining things. I know. I love her so much. Now I want oatmeal. Whoa. Hello, Mersh. Welcome in. The penitentiary was the Quaker design. I say they thought solitary confinement would help the mind to heal. Well, I mean, I don't think that it could have been known at the time that what they were doing was torture. It's not like they were waterboarding people and going, oh, you know, we think this is really helping. You know, like, I would be interested in seeing the reasoning behind their establishment of penitentiaries in addition to the general, like, confirmation that they did that. Yeah, Anansi points out that the Quakers were huge on taking out slavery. They were pretty based about that at the time, especially compared to the torture that was the norm at the time. Solitary confinement would not have been, understood to be torture, I don't think. No, I appreciate it, Anansi. I did not know that Quakers made penitentiaries. Yeah, James says it depends on the person. The thing about religion is that you can take whatever you want from it. Good people take good things and use it for good things, and bad people take the bad and use it for bad. I think that that's fair. Which is why I don't generally say, like, I have a problem with Christians. Some of my loved ones are Christian. It's just that I think that the establishment of Christianity and, like, the beliefs that are involved in it. I mean, and okay, I guess we're doing this. For the title of the stream, Christianity is a bit weird if you think about it, is because I thought about making the title of the stream, like, Zombie Jesus Day or something. You know, that throwback to a very old edgy atheist reference of it being Zombie Jesus Day, and I decided not to do that. But I'm just thinking about, like, I saw something that said that Christianity was kind of a death cult on like Facebook or something recently, that was saying that you know, if you believe that this guy was murdered for this, you know, sins, whatever, then that's a death cult. It's a doomsday cult or something. Yeah, like, I don't know what you would call it exactly. So for a second, I thought about making the title like Christianity is kind of a death cult. But I don't know. It's just a weird set of beliefs. I think that any religion that asserts it's true while necessitating that every other religion is false is immediately extremely suspect, which tends to be what dogmatic religions do. This is part of why I like Quakers, because Quakers are just like, I don't want to push my issues on you. Like, Quakers are what Christians should be if Christians actually followed any of their beliefs systems or their books, you know. Like, Quakers do shit in private. They don't proselytize. In recent years, it's been discovered that incarceration, even the humane and progressive forms of it, for even as little as a year, has profound impacts on a person's psyche and social skills. They need counseling and reentry help, but these supports are not provided for test subjects, patients, ex-military, and prisoners. All of these individuals have issues afterwards, even if they don't realize it. Yeah, I am still evolving on my views about prison. I don't think that it's like the best thing for most of the crimes that it's currently used for. I don't know that I think it's completely wrong for people who have done horrible things like murder in cold blood, like crimes of passion, for example. I don't know that I think that those things shouldn't have some kind of institutional, like, separate you from society for a while. But I don't think that that should be solitary confinement. I don't think it should carry the risk of rape, you know. I don't know how to do that humanely and in a way that is going to center rehabilitation. But I do think if you present a danger to others, that we should have some kind of societal mechanism for making the community safe. You know, I just think that that's an open conversation about what we could do. Like, it's an opportunity to start having a discussion about things that we could do differently. You know what I mean? The Rapture sounds pretty damn death culty to me. True. Quakers did have Nixon in there. Nixon was a Quaker? Oh, no way. I bet he was an atheist and he just claimed Quakerism so that he could have an excuse to not go to church or something. Like, that's what I would bet. Discord book club reading Michel Foucault's Birth of the Prison. I mean, maybe I should start reading theory. Foucault, Birth of the Prison. I need to go to the library this week anyway. I kind of think 99% of prisons are unnecessary. Honestly, house arrest would be enough for a lot of crimes. Yeah, I think that the overwhelming majority of crimes that people end up in prison for, you know, like, I don't think that you should be in prison for tax fraud. I don't think you should be in prison for selling weed. Like, I don't think Was it Foucault that came up with the panopticon? I'm not sure. The panopticon meaning like the concept that you could be watched at any given moment, and like the prison of surveillance kind of thing. Is that what you're... Later, Derns. Unfortunately, the internet is dying on Dern's end. Sad. Sad. I gotta drink some water. Welcome back, Baphomet. Prison should be for violent crimes only. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like if you have hurt someone else, in a way that like you were the aggravating, you were the aggravating person, which is hard to prove and everything. So I mean, even in that case, it's like, well, is there any chance that someone who was just defending themselves, like how women who kill their domestic abusers get imprisoned more often than domestic abusers do? If you just look at the number of times that their cases are brought to court, men do not as frequently get pulled up on charges anyway for domestic abuse compared to the number of times they do it, versus like the number of times that a woman fighting back, whether she kills her partner or not, like she is more likely to get arrested in the first place and more likely to get prison time, it seems. So cumulatively, our system is technically, it's punishing a violent crime, technically, I guess, in the sense that like if a woman kills her husband because he was beating her or like molesting their children or something, like we would still need to exercise a degree of like our justice system would otherwise require some overhauling, Water is good. The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein is a must-read for anyone I feel who wants to be aware of our crimes against people of color. Yeah, I don't really feel like I need to be more aware of our crimes against people of color. I think I'm pretty thoroughly aware of them, and I'm ready to start looking at, like some potential ideas for solutions. That is something I'm interested in doing, is like having more reference of potential solutions to look at. No drugs should be criminalized at all, IMO. I agree. I think that harm reduction is the best call with drug users, because it's not like drug abuse is something that people tend to get into for funsies. I mean, maybe you might try drugs at a party for funsies, but when you get addicted to a drug, it tends to be because there's something wrong with your life. Obviously, some drugs are like physically addictive, Wait, Law, what are you, a fucking liberal? True, I am a fucking liberal. Yes, it's still in there. I still have a lot of the Vosh, the built-in Vosh things. Even the quote for funsies drug use is probably self-medication. Right, yeah, like, we shouldn't be punishing people for needing an escape from their lives, which is fundamentally what is going on when you're, if you're on like meth because you need to stay awake and energized enough to do your 4 jobs, so that you can afford your rent payment on your trailer plot, like that's not for fun. That's self-medication, and downers are self-medication in terms of like needing escape from your life. So yeah, we shouldn't be penalizing drug use, in my opinion. For-profit prisons are a misnomer. The vast majority of prisoners being abused are in our facilities, not private facilities. I'm not familiar with, I guess, the difference between for-profit prisons and other facilities. Wasn't there a black woman who fired a gun in the air in her home to scare off her abuser in Florida, and she got serious prison time for it? In the stand your ground castle doctrine state? I think there was. I don't remember the details of the case, but the general overview that you've described is familiar to me. Yeah. Hold on. Probably because she didn't shoot him. God damn it, the Times. Leave me the fuck alone. Just let me read the goddamn article. Reuters. Marissa Alexander, who was convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She was acquitted, or just George Zimmerman was acquitted, blah, blah, blah. This is not initial. So this is why, Okay, Alexander said she's 5'2", and her husband was about to attack her, so she fired a gun into a kitchen wall during an August 2010 incident. The man had previously been convicted of domestic violence for attacking her. Prosecutors said that the shot endangered the partner. At the time, Alexander had an active restraining order against her husband, and she carried a concealed carry weapons permit. So, like, yeah, there was an active restraining order. The guy was aggressive. She shot at the wall and not at him, and she got caught up on, like, aggravated assault charges, which is so fucking insane. So, yeah, for sure, like, even when we say only violent crimes should be punished by prison time, like, we still need to be judicious in our application of that. I've heard a lot of people suggest that if you have to shoot someone in self-defense, you should make sure to kill them because it's easier to get off on self-defense if they can't tell their side of the story. Wow. I mean, I can see that being the case. It's a fucked up thing to say, but I mean, wow. Universal income, universal food access, universal housing, universal healthcare, universal education, federal jobs guarantee, and a 3-day work week standard would fix most, if not all, issues, as long as we also in the process ban lead and several other things that we pollute our children and ourselves with. Agreed. If we just took care of people, our crime rate would go down. But if the crime rate went down, then the prisons wouldn't be full of workers, and you wouldn't be able to remove voters from the community. Prosecutor probably argued that because she shot in the air, she probably argued that because she shot in the air instead of shooting him, that she wasn't in legitimate fear for her life. But it's not like, yeah, it's not like she shot him and we're trying to justify whether her shooting him was in legitimate fear. It's like, is shooting a gun in order to is shooting a warning shot illegal is the question. Like, that's the question. Is shooting a warning shot legal or not? That, and like, fundamentally, that's what the question that would be at the heart of that case for me. I want to stay, but I got a meeting with RP to prep for, and if I stay, I'll smoke more, which would not help. Well, good luck out there. Enjoy. Good luck getting shit done. The problem with that kind of society is that the government would then look more like China's CCP. I'm not super familiar with China's gov, if I'm being honest. Really, Boogie2988 got in legal trouble for firing a warning shot when a stalker showed up at his house. What? Only in America will we be asking if it's legal to not kill someone. I love how we all went Boogie1488. Yeah. Warning shots are illegal. Literally, like, shooting someone is more legal than shooting a warning shot to get them to leave you the fuck alone. I mean, I know that shooting your gun into the air is illegal because if the bullet, like, falls down on someone, like, it could hurt someone. Like, it's considered reckless behavior with your gun, right? But, like, if you're shooting into the dirt or you're shooting at the wall, I don't know. The idea is that you shouldn't even draw the gun unless your life is in immediate danger and you're justified in actually killing them. Wow, we certainly have some really fucking stupid laws for a country that claims to care a lot about gun ownership. You would think any action short of that is used against you to say that you escalated preemptively. I don't know. I guess there is a difference between... Yeah, okay. I was about to say, like, if you just have your gun on your hip and you just reference it and you go like, hey, I'm just letting you know that there's a gun on my hip instead of, like, pulling it out and shooting. I had a friend get caught up because she brandished her gun to thieves in her house. So you can't even say, like, I have a gun and I will shoot you if you don't get the fuck out of my house. Like, it's literally better for you if you just shoot the intruder immediately. It's actually more dangerous to fire at a 45-degree angle than to fire straight up, because if you fire straight up, the bullet will slow to 0 and then fall only at terminal velocity, which is slower than muzzle exit velocity. That's fair. I generally would not shoot into the air anyway, but like I just meant like if you were to shoot at the ground, is preemptive self-defense a thing? I mean, I want to say like it depends on where you live, because like wasn't preemptive self-defense basically the justification that George Zimmerman used? Yeah, no warning, just start capping. So I started blasting. I was in Texas. Holy shit. Where do you draw the line of in danger? Seems arbitrary, and you might wait so long you just end up dead. Right, it's fundamentally the same question as like the fascism question. When we're talking about like, at what point in a dangerous feeling moment do you get your gun out? Like, do the man's hands need to be around your neck before you pull your gun out of your belt? Or like, is him lunging at you enough for you to pull your gun out and shoot him? Like, does he have to put his hands on you before you can do something? Like, that's the question. Because it kind of seems like most of our justice system, quote unquote, is like only reactive. Like, even if someone is imminently threatening your life, if they've gotten in your space and they're physically threatening you and they're telling you things that they're going to do to you, yeah, you're justified to act after at least 3 kids have been shot. Only after 3 kids. Yeah, if you do a warning shot, shoot the dirt. That's what I would say. Depends on the state and the locality. Where I'm at in Virginia, I straight out shot at a person who was trying to break in. The only thing the sheriff told me is that I should get a better gun. He recommended that I buy a pump shotgun and kindly took his advice. Yeah, really, it depends on your authority having jurisdiction in that case, and like what kind of person you are. If only after 3 kids, what about Uvalde? Yeah, I mean, it's not saying that you have to go in after the death of 3 kids. It's just only after 3 kids have died can you do something. Which I think that the reference was to Nashville with the Christian school and 3 kids. I think it was 3 children, 3 adults who died from that one. If it's a crime to just point at a gun on your belt or gesture to it during an argument, then the cops definitely should have arrested the fascists outside the Christmas drag show that we counter-protested, because they did that a lot. It's only, yeah. And like also the question of what is legal and what's not doesn't even really matter, because maybe it is illegal in a certain place for you to do something and the cop's just gonna like let it slide, depending on who you are and like their personal bias there. Exactly, there's a bias toward white cis men. Good thing I have 3.5 kids just laying around. The Chinese government wants to control every aspect of people's lives. There are more security cameras in China than there are people in China. They have a social credit scoring system that means if your score is low, you lose access to what we would consider human rights. I've seen some about the social credit system. I feel like everything that we know about China is going to come through a weird lens. So, but what I did find compelling was seeing some Chinese journalists talk about how their investigations and stuff had led them to like lose their house or not have the ability to buy a house or something because of their social credit score, and then effectively having to leave the country. So, you know, I feel like a lot of news from China is very scaremongery in our media, but I'm thinking that it's going to be, I mean, I still think that it is pretty fucked up over there, like probably. It's just hard to say exactly how fucked up. Propaganda. It becomes really difficult to have definitive opinions on things when you start acknowledging that all of the sources of information are suspect. Like, it sometimes can become difficult to know what the fuck is going on. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, Foucault. Might read Foucault later. It's gonna be fun. Reading theory is gonna be fun. Is that really a thing that I want to do with my time? I don't know. We'll find out. Happy birthday to the ground! Exactly. Decoy Duck knows what's up. Is it crazy to see all of this and go, I should probably have a lot of kids so that some of them live to adulthood? Makes me feel like non-human animals have it right. I mean, that's sort of what we used to do, wasn't it? Like, if you lived in ye olde America, and if your kids often died of illness or from accidents, labor accidents and things like that, why wouldn't you have 6 of them in the hopes that 2 of them make it to adulthood? Like, you had to have 6 kids in order to just meet the replacement rate effectively. Whoa, just gonna knock my microphone around apparently. Anyway. There are like so many different news topics that we can talk about today. I have a tendency to do this, I think. I kind of go through bursts where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a lot of political content and I'll have so many videos. And I don't even necessarily get out half of those videos that I intended to be segments on the channel. And then I'll lull out for a few weeks and be like, I don't want to talk about anything serious. and like there's occasional drama coverage in those moments. I kind of like go back and forth between the politics. Talking about China is tricky these days because China hawkery is so prolific and bipartisan within our government, and the Chinese government is bad, but what would be even worse is like having a war with them. Politicians here like to hawk on China for political points while not considering that they push us another inch closer to a destructive global conflict. Encouraging cooperation with China would actually be the best way to influence their society to be better on human rights. Right, we are like pushing their buttons right now. Aren't we very actively pushing China's buttons by going to Taiwan? Like that's... I've started doing this thing where I ask my phone to tell me what the morning news is. And so we listen to like CNN and ABC and other news in the morning. And that's like one of the things that's been... Normally this is shit that I wouldn't fucking care about, but it is true that I think Kamala Harris like visited Taiwan a couple months back, and then another U.S. representative went to Taiwan like Friday or some shit. So we are kind of stirring the pot with them. I understand that there is an issue where Taiwan is like has an independent and democratic government, and China keeps trying to flex on them. But realistically, that doesn't impact the lives of Taiwanese people a lot, from what I gather. Like, they're kind of just like, there's war games happening around the island that China's putting on, but Taiwanese life is just sort of going on as usual. They have a functioning separate government. So, like, China is just kind of declaring that Taiwan is theirs and flexing while not actually exerting any power over them. So it's like, why would we fuck around and find out right now when there's other shit happening in the world? I don't know, man. Just seems really weird. The world has become a technocracy created by the global corporate elite class, and it only works for them and not for the lower working class. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to do some really intense systems analysis to determine what aspects of this are working and which ones are not. And we will see what happens when it comes to actually making any changes. The issue with, quote, encouraging cooperation is that this is what neoliberalism has been doing for the last 30 years, and all it has done is make China more powerful. Yeah, I mean, honestly, once we get into the foreign policy of it all, I recognize that I'm a little bit out of my depth. I can do surface level analysis. Reject modernity, return to monk Burn all of it. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. It also, there's like some sort of standoff between China and Russia happening right now that I was listening to on the news yesterday. There's some sort of like, I think it's some ships having a standoff, China and Russia, shipping lanes or something along those lines. And it's really interesting how I wonder if even the US is considered less and less of a competitive world power. Like, we have our military, but we also are very reluctant to use our military against other powers. So, you know, I mean, obviously we'll deploy them to third world countries and fuck up the Middle East and shit. But yeah, I don't know. By the way, I wanted to clarify those two separate statements. I wasn't calling Middle Eastern countries third world necessarily as a whole. China are also proclaiming that they own the South China Sea regardless of the claims of all the other island nations in the South China Sea. That's so fucking silly. I've been a bit shocked by the US bringing back child labor lately. Guess I was naive. Yeah, I haven't even thought about touching that on this stream as like a going in depth on it. It's just so fucked up and insane. I'm like, I don't even think that there's anything else I can say about it except that it's fucked up and insane. Quote, developing nations, right? Maybe this is a bit lib-brained, but I think that if China and the US were more intertwined in the systems of economics, that it would disincentivize both countries going to war. American energy independence is great and all, but separating ourselves from every single thing we depend on China for is the kind of act one does when preparing for a war. Right, like the less cooperation you're doing, the more it seems like you're setting yourself up to be adversaries rather than having mutual interests. China walked back support for Russia. Yeah, I think that they are going to start beefing China and Russia. I feel like Indiana Jones running from the boulder as I watch things get worse and worse for younger people and anti-trans laws get pushed for older folks. I'm kind of starting to not know what the fuck to do. Like, I kind of was hoping that shit wouldn't go bad in Kansas where I live, but there is a veto-proof majority on some of these laws. Not on all of them, but on some of them. Like, we just had a veto-proof majority pass a law against trans kids being in sports. We'll see if that gets challenged in the court system. That would be great. Because Biden's administration just said, you know, you can't do this to younger people. You can do it when it becomes competitive, quote unquote, which means at the varsity and college level and junior varsity probably, at those levels, you are allowed to discriminate against trans people. But at younger ages, like, you can't have a blanket ban. So maybe this ban in Kansas will get challenged, but maybe not. We don't know. We'll see. And they're trying to pass other laws. There's another law that they're trying to pass that would restrict bathroom access. And some people have said that if you read the wording of the bill, it would also restrict your ability to update your driver's license and birth certificate. Like, it would disallow you from changing the gender marker on those things. And it might even also introduce barriers to changing your name for gender reasons. I'm not totally sure how bad that one goes because I haven't read it yet. I mean, I'm having a little bit of avoidance, honestly. I'm like, it's like gonna pass anyway. There's not really a point in contacting the legislature, it feels like. But maybe I should try to figure out, you know, when the fucking meetings are and go to them and speak in front of Congress in Topeka and see, like, fuck Biden, he's splitting the baby. I know. He chose to be bipartisan about discrimination, which is just pro-discrimination. It's letting the Overton window continually get dragged further to the right, because the left position should be like no compromise whatsoever. This didn't used to be a problem. It did not used to be illegal. Why are you making it illegal? There was no evidence that this was a harm to children, but they're gonna just do it, and then the Biden administration is gonna say, well, some of the discrimination you're doing is reasonable. And I also noticed, I was listening this morning to some news about the mifepristone or whatever the fuck that's called, the abortion pill, which we will probably talk about today a little bit. But Kamala Harris, I noticed, said, like, she repeatedly said when she was making public comments about this, like, women's rights are under attack and women's such and such. I don't know if Kamala knows. Her social media team must know that there has just been a very recent discussion and like an ongoing discussion about accurate terminology with regards to abortion rights. Like, it just, maybe just, I don't know, like, it seems like that has been an ongoing discussion for a while, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has updated her language about this. So it just feels intentional. Like, it feels like the official position that the White House is taking is, you know, only for performative acknowledgement of trans people's existence. But as far as any realistic bringing us into mainstream conversations, like the fact you could just say women, families, and all Americans who are affected by this. Like, you could just elaborate instead of saying women only every time you say, like, you know, women's rights are under attack, and or like, you know, we are standing with the women who are affected by this attempt to restrict their access. Like, you could just say women, families, and everyone who is affected by this, which, because that also acknowledges that, like, families are often the, you know, it's appealing to that conservative value. And, like, families are torn apart when mothers die. Like, maybe you have 2 kids. Like, this is the most common situation for abortions. The most common situation for abortions in this country is a mother who already has kids and cannot afford another one, or complications occurred. Like, it's overwhelmingly women who are already parents. So, like, the likelihood that restricting abortion access is going to impact families is very high, because that's the number one group of people who gets abortions, whatever their reason is. If it's because they can't afford it or because there are medical complications, overwhelmingly mothers are the majority of people who get abortions. So yes, it does mean that families get torn apart, kids lose their moms, and I don't really see that conversation being had in the abortion discussion. So yeah, you could even just say women, families, and everyone who's affected by this. Women, families, and all Americans, or, you know, I don't know. It feels really intentional. Maybe it's optics, appeal to conservatives, right? I think that even you could appeal to conservatives. You don't even have to say women and trans men. Like, that's not what I'm asking for in this case, per se. It's just like women and anyone else other than women, like, in acknowledging that this is a multifaceted issue. It's sad to see that the White House is not up on the new woke terminology that only Anna Kasparian gets pregnant, truly. Democrats don't be fucking cowardly worms challenge level impossible. What's this video? Spirit, what have you sent me?
It's weird how not.
Transphobia, the far right, and liberalism. Okay, interesting. Transphobia is being used as a central mobilizing method by various far-right groups. This video looks at how transphobia is able to bind seemingly disparate right-wing groups under one umbrella. More than this, I explain how liberal transphobia is sucked into far-right mobilization because both liberalism and far-right ideologies rest on the same bed of patriarchy, white supremacy, and capitalism. Yeah, I might watch this later, but I kind of feel like I understand everything that this person is going to say. I'm like, yes, I agree with that. This is part of why I don't watch politics videos anymore, y'all, is because I'm like, yes, I agree. I'm radical. I've been radicalized. I don't need it to be explained to me. I understand this well enough that I could articulate it in my position as a streamer, as a communicator, you know. I want to start talking about what to do. Like, that just... Something about, like, the fact that doing a bunch of actions recently has made me feel a lot better means, like, you know, maybe if I take more actions, I'll feel better. But it's hard to know what exactly to do next. I knew a girl in grade 9 who had serious complications because her Catholic family pressured her to keep it. She still has issues. Yeah, and that, you know, if you a girl in grade 9, is that like 14 or maybe 15 years old? I was telling somebody on Twitter this recently. You know, we were having the conversation about Matt Walsh and how he Matt Walsh has this opinion, or has had these opinions about how, like, oh, you know, it used to be normal for marriage to happen at age, you know, 15, and for girls and for like young women that young to get pregnant, you know, that, however he would phrase it. It's, someone responded to that being like, yeah, well, it makes sense that if you thought you would die by age 25, you might want to start popping out kids as early as possible because you might not get the chance for very long. And I was like, you know, the average life expectancy has actually not gone up significantly if you remove child deaths from the equation. Like, okay, life expectancy is an average. So if you look back, you know, at the olden days, in the old Wild West or something, maybe you saw the quote-unquote average age was only like 30 or 40 years old. And you're like, oh my God, people used to die so young. Can you imagine just everybody dying when they turned 40? Holy shit. But the reason that the average is so low is because children died. If you remove children dying from that equation, people generally lived to the same age, 50 or 60. 50 or 60. I mean, yeah, obviously, as we've extended it out to 70, 80, 90, 100, that's because of the medical whatever. But as far as just general, like when human bodies start to have health complications is about 50 or 60 years old. That's normal. And one of the factors in child deaths is when you get pregnant and give birth too young. Exactly. Thank you, James. You're there with me. A lot of those young deaths are 13 and 14-year-old girls dying in labor. Their bodies are not ready for it. Biden and Kamala are clearly trying to court Republican voters for 2024, which is a fucking stupid strategy that anyone with a dusty brain cell could see. This is going to be the back half of Biden's potentially only term in office. The Democrat strategy meetings. How can we make ourselves appeal to backwards bigots and piss off our base? You know, they're deliberately holding off on announcing the candidacy. And I was, again, wow, I have such different news experience this past week because I'm doing this and I'm listening to the news podcast in the morning instead of flicking through Twitter. So just the amount of news that I'm getting is a little different. But they're deliberately waiting to announce the candidacy. There is no question that they're going to run, according to Jill Biden. She said there's no question to her that Joe is going to run for re-election. And they're just trying to focus on getting things done in the presidency instead of starting work on the campaign, because that's like a whole fucking full-time job on its own. But I would say they're being deeply ineffective with the time that they're spending working on these things. And yeah, I just am really wildly disappointed. And I'm sure, I mean, that's not to say that the political decisions that they're making now aren't oriented around the candidacy, but rather that, you know, it's, I would agree though that this conservative appeal is kind of what they're doing. They're trying to appease conservatives, and I don't know why they would do that. I don't know who told them that was going to be the popular decision to make. There are more and more voters swinging further and further left, being more and more frustrated that their views are not represented in government on any kind of realistic scale. And so I don't know why you would think that that's a winning strategy. Why would you not want to catch the lower voters, like the lower aged voters? Don't appease, rather crush them. Bill Clinton did it successfully 30 years ago, and the Democrats have not deviated from it since. Right in Dolly Parton, says Captain Cougar. True. It's so weird to me that, like, technically I get paid for this political analysm. Like, it's one thing if I get paid for talking about trans issues. It's another thing to be like, oh yeah, part of what I get paid for is to make political commentary on this kind of stuff. It's all kind of connected. You kind of can't talk about one without talking about the other. When the radical Republicans get in office, they are so aggressive. When liberal Democrats get in office, they seem to not be aggressive enough to ever counteract or at least check the progress of the GOP. Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. Republicans actually try to get shit done, and Democrats do not. I mean, like Republicans don't care about bipartisanism. They don't care about whether Democrats agree with what they're doing. Oh my God, excuse me. Holy shit. 20 years ago, Howard Dean gave a big yell at a campaign rally and got knocked entirely out of the race. So many Democrats seem to think this is still the kind of time we live in, even after Trump. Fucking insane. Yeah, like the decorum that Democrats are holding themselves to is reflective of a very different period in political history. Like, it's interesting because it's almost as though the Democrats are trying to maintain some level of tradition in the mood of electoralism, but it's just it makes them seem really out of touch almost. The Dean scream. Is this a sound bite that people should have on their soundboards? I just now had 2 cups in my... I had a cup in each hand. This was down here out of frame, and then I was drinking this, and they were both in my hand. It was a very weird moment. I don't think that I would consider it a bad thing if pieing politicians became a normal thing. It is assault, but you're getting the message across that your rep is a clown. Jiminy Christmas. Any hoozle. Close some of these. I don't need this. I don't need this. The slimy, underhanded things that they're willing to do, that the Republicans are willing to do, the depths that they're willing to go. I keep thinking that there are no more surprises, but there are still surprises. For example, North Carolina, which is not like a hotbed of liberalism and progressive politics. North Carolina, when I think of it, one of the first things that comes to mind is that in 2016, North Carolina was like the start of the battleground of bathroom laws regarding transgender people's right to use the bathroom. They restricted bathroom access, and then I believe it was that teenager Gavin Grimm at the time? I mean, he's an adult now, obviously, but I thought that was the Gavin Grimm case. He sued the government for making this law, right? So it's not like North Carolina is the best place in the world to be. But they will do dirty, underhanded shit in order to usurp the democratic process. For example, in North Carolina, a state legislator recently was voted in as a Democrat. Her name is Tricia Cotham. She was represented in a new district, like a district that had just recently been created. She was, and it's like a 60% or more Democrat district, and they voted for her as a Democrat. She ran on, women's rights and all these things, pro-LGBT candidate, and she, very shortly after being elected, switched to a Republican. Like, she ran as a Democrat, got elected in a majority Democrat district that had just been created, and she switched her party, which is just, to me, incredibly fucked up. I mean, it is just very obviously fucked up. And her reasoning was just super pathetic. Let's see. I have decided to change my party affiliation, join in the Republican Party, and I have been welcomed with open arms. She adds that the modern-day Democratic Party has become unrecognizable to me. The party wants to villainize anyone who has free thought, free judgment, has solutions, who wants to get to work to better our state, not just sit in a meeting and have a workshop after a workshop. If you don't do exactly what the Democrats want you to do, they will try to bully you. They will try to cast you aside. So that's a bunch of very broad BS. And, like, here's the thing. I've seen this before. Because I recall back in the day seeing people saying that they didn't want to call themselves feminist anymore because the actions of some feminists were reflecting badly on them. They're like, I don't want to call myself a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I don't have anything to do with you all. And I was thinking to myself at the time, like, feminism is a set of beliefs. Like, you don't stop being a feminist because other feminists are doing things that you disagree with. You would stop being a feminist if you stopped having the set of beliefs that everybody deserves free access to, like, everybody deserves public access. Everybody deserves a certain amount of, like, equal wages and all that kind of thing. Like, equity in the workplace. Like, if you believe in gendered equity generally, then you are a feminist. And it was just so strange to me when people would disassociate themselves with communities based on this, like, club kind of sensation. Like, if you aren't nice enough to me, then I'm just not even going to consider myself a feminist anymore. It's like you either are or you're not. I guess to an extent, like, you either identify as a feminist or you don't. But I don't know. So, but this is the exact same thing, and it strikes me, and it's the same strange tone. It's like, if you leave the Democratic Party because of quote unquote bullying, like, if you don't do exactly what the Democrats want you to do, they'll try to bully you. Like, well, what it sounds like is that you ran as you ran as a Democrat, and then you started doing things like a Republican, and then Democrats got pissed off at you. So if you weren't doing what the Democrats voted for you to do, is kind of what it sounds like. I'm not entirely sure, like, what was the actual thing she got. I think it was some kind of Twitter stuff. Cotham was elected last year as a Democrat after she previously served 10 years in the House from 2007 to 2017. Her campaign website showcases stances typically held by Democrats, including being a champion of LGBTQ+ rights and expanding voting rights. Democrats have lashed out at Cotham over this decision, with many calling on her to resign. I think that there should be an additional election. Like, I think that they should do another election. I'm reading a little bit more here. What was her actual reason for changing parties? Let me see. Does she actually say why? Oh god, Jubilee video? Oh fuck, what is this?
Can I ask you?
Male feminists versus female anti-feminists. Interesting. I don't like Jubilee because I think it's very stressful content. I saw I saw that they did a video recently with, like, some detransitioners, or maybe they didn't do it recently, but I just saw it recently. Yeah, should minors transition, detransition versus trans, middle ground from 7 days ago. I don't know if I want to watch that. I think it would be really stressful. I don't know, maybe that would be like a if we get to $200 in donos on a stream this week, I will do that video. That sounds like a bad time though. I don't know. Sometimes y'all like watching me be angry, right? Sometimes that's a treat. You can have a little bit of a dragon breathing fire as a treat, perhaps. What the fuck am I doing? So the reason why this is so... Hold on. Wait. Stop. Shush. What is it? Has she declared that she's going to vote differently on something? Like, she said she's switching parties, but I don't know what, like, is she gonna vote differently? Has she actually said what her positions are? So the main reason why this is so annoying, aside from like the fact that it's just annoying to have someone switch parties like this, is that this means that there is now a Republican supermajority in North Carolina. So now if they tried to pass a shitty conservative law, they have a Democrat governor who would veto it. However, this shift, this one person changing party, if she begins to vote with the Republicans, this is going to result in a veto-proof supermajority so that the state legislature will be able to pass whatever they want, and it won't matter that they have a Democratic government. So here she says, I'm still the same person, and I'm going to do what I believe is right and follow my conscience. I've suffered many attacks since I've been up here, from Democrats in the party, from blasting me on Twitter, to calling me names, to going after my family, going after my children. The party wants to villainize anyone who has free thought, free judgment, has solutions, and we have a ball. We already read this. So she basically says she's gonna keep voting the same. Cotham's decision could be the most impactful in regards to a nationwide trend of increasing abortion restrictions. According to reporting from member station WNC, she would not answer specific questions about a potential ban on abortions after 13 weeks, something which Republicans are said to be considering, but she has insisted she will stick to her values. She claims, she refuses to comment specifically on this potential ban on abortion after 13 weeks. It's not like you're becoming a judge. She's literally going to vote with the Republicans. There's no other reason to switch parties. And like, she's saying, oh, I'll stick to my values, but she's going to vote with the Republicans. So, you know, sucks to be you in North Carolina. Y'all are about to lose the right to abortion there after 13 weeks. And then they're never going to stop at 13 weeks. They're going to keep pushing it further back and back and back. And, you know, they're going to, if they're not, they are legally allowed to make it completely illegal now. That's Roe v. Wade protected against making it completely illegal. So they will probably, in some places, continue to do the incremental, oh, we're only going to vote, we're only going to make it 13 weeks. Oh, well, now it needs to be 8 weeks. Oh, well, now it needs to be 6 weeks. And other places will just outright make it illegal. So, but yeah, no, this woman is definitely like a traitor on a couple of different levels. Trisha Cotham ran as a Democrat, and now look at her. She's so proud. She's wearing this red dress. Look at that. She's leaning into it. What an asshole. Like, I guess I don't have anything else to add on that. Like, just what a huge fucking asshole. I'll stick to my values. My values are me, money, 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 nom, nom. True. Money, me, and needing a lot now. Money, me, a lot, needing now. $30 pieces of silver for Our Lady Judas on Easter Sunday. Truly. Good grief. What an asshole. Here. Make sure my links are all fucking making sense today. Links. I have some links. North Carolina gov. Up. Taking bets on how much they bribed her with. I bet it wasn't even 7 figures. I mean, in this economy, with food prices what they are, you know, maybe she, as low as 4 figures even, perhaps. Who knows? I have to pee. I've been drinking so much liquids. You should drink some water and get yourself a snack while I'm gone. We have more politics to talk about. More politics. Anyway, don't go anywhere. Hit the like button. Share. Actually, you know what? While I'm gone, if you've never shared the videos before, maybe consider like sharing the link on Twitter or something. And like just see if that makes a difference. Because I know when you hit like, people will always come in because it tells YouTube send the video to someone else. But I don't know how it works if we do it off platform. So maybe we should try to encourage those things. If you enjoy my content and you have been, this is where we'd play the Luxander bathroom song if we had one. True. If you enjoy the content, share it with people. Okay? We want to spread. We want the horde to become bigger. Horde needs to be bigger. I want more hordes. That's what a horde is. IDK, if you want to get shared on my NSFW Twitter. I support sex workers, you know? Anyway, all right, I'll be right back. Might start getting chasers in here. I don't even know. Like, do I have a problem with chasers if they're giving me money? If they're giving me money, then I don't have an issue with chasers. I think that's my official position. Yeah, exactly. With how often genitals come up in here, it is probably the right audience. Coffee? Coffee? I can't seem to say it. I have both water and coffee. Technically, you're still hydrating if you're drinking coffee, but not if it has a bunch of fucking sugar in it. Chasers? More like basters. I mean, that kind of... That has a totally... That makes me think more like it's a turkey baster. And so they're... It's like, oh, chasers. I'm just gonna stop there. It's waffy. Cafefe, am I right, fellow libs? Cafefe. The main thing that dehydrates you is caffeine, since it's a diuretic and makes you need to pee. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, like, actually dehydrate you. It just increases your need to pee. Problem is that they can get a little weird and stalkery, and you do share a lot about yourself, too. I mean, I guess that's fair. Basters? Baiters. Baiters! Got some baiters in here. I want to see some links. Oh yeah, baby. Darth Vader, true. There have been studies, it doesn't dehydrate you. If it did, I would have been a mummy long ago. Yeah, how can it dehydrate you to drink something that is literally just dirty water? It's literally just dirty water with some sugar milk in it. It's your call, though. I'm not saying that I'm gonna go out there and seek chasers. Salty water can dehydrate you. I mean, only if it's, like, pretty excessively salty. Because here's the other thing about dehydration. Having too little salt... Like, you can't hydrate if you don't have enough salt in your body. Like, salt is the pathway to allowing water to penetrate your cells. So, if, for example, if you're drinking a lot of water and finding that you're peeing a lot, but you still feel really thirsty, you need more salt. Did someone say penetrate? I did. I did say penetrate. Don't drink salt water. I mean... You can drink lightly salted water if you don't want to drink Gatorade, for example. Like, because Gatorade has other sugar and shit in it. You could literally just lightly salt water and drink it. Electrolytes, they're what plants crave. True. Oh, sad Darth Gently. Yeah, Dix is sub-only. Sub-only. There's not too many white names. We're doing okay on the mayo side. It's not a complete mayo side. Now I'm imagining some salt and pepper water. Ooh, no, the pepper just floats on top of the water. It doesn't mix in. You don't want that. I catch my friend eating out of the salt bowl. Or classic, just drinking pickle juice straight out of the jar. That's another. If I feel like if my heart is doing a lot of flips and palpitations and stuff, I will just go and drink pickle juice and hope that that's like a little bit of a salt boost. Yeah, like if I finish a jar of pickles, if I've eaten all the pickles, I still keep the jar for a little while and finish drinking the juice. It's a probiotic as well. Vinegar is good for you. There are people who just straight up drink apple cider vinegar, like a shot of apple cider vinegar in the morning as part of their health. Oh, that's weird. I don't really feel thirst. That's a very autistic feeling. Very trans femme of you, Lux. I know. This is why I am kinfolk with the trans girls. I have always loved pickles. Luxander, Alliance side Grobulus is cringe. You should join Horde. But I like my Alliance Horde. I like my Alliance Rogue. Why did I say Alliance Horde? My Alliance Rogue. I am a night elf. And I don't know. I've been enjoying it. Why is Alliance side Grobulus cringe? Drinking apple cider. Someone warned Dr. Peterson. Wait, does Dr. Peterson have an issue? Does Jordan Peterson have an issue with apple cider? Apple cider vinegar specifically. They gotta stick up their ass. Okay. What's the population split on Grobulus? Wasn't it fairly even, or... Apple cider apparently made him stay awake for a week. Jordan Peterson is such a fucking weirdo. Grobulusy. I have not seen Violet today, but Violet, Chatter Violet Lane ran me around in WoW last night and showed me a bunch of stuff that I could do to make money quickly. Like, here's the... I mean, honestly, it could have just been a list of things. She could have just been like, here's the several dungeons you should do. Because I think there may have been a little bit of a misunderstanding of how familiar I am with the game. It's like, I did play for 3+ years when I was a teenager, and then I've played since then a couple of different times. Most of Horde Grobulus is full of gay furries, and most of Alliance Grobulus is full of M-Dreamers. I don't know what that is. It's about 40-60 Alliance to Horde. Okay. So, I mean, if there's a bunch of gay furries on the Horde side, I guess I have no choice but to switch, but I've been enjoying questing in Teldrassil. Emerald Dream Realm players. Oh, okay. Oh, weird. So, like, a bunch of people from the Emerald Dream retail came over. That's funny. If there are any gay furries, I want to be in that space with those people. I'm on Stormreaver as the retail server that I'm on. I just picked one. It's not like I just picked one that had a relatively manageable population. I'm going to clean my computer this week so that I can do, because I want to do gaming stuff. I think that I want to, like, have that as an option where I'm like, listen, y'all, I don't want to talk about news today, like, or I don't know, maybe not even not talk about news, but just use that as, like, I can be playing a game and talking to you guys at the same time. Return of the Beaver game. I was not thinking of the Beaver game. I was thinking more like World of Warcraft and Sea of Thieves. Promise you won't gank me if you see me out in the wild. My name's Kokana. No promises! I'll probably just sap you and then run away. If you ever get sapped and then nothing else happens, that's probably me. Yeah, be safe driving, Shade. Thank you. Sea of Thieves is adorable. I have like a low level of anxiety the entire time I'm playing Sea of Thieves. I wish I could show it to you. Like, I think if I even tried to pull it up to show it to you, it would really damage the stream frame rate. Even if I turned my camera off and everything, I think that you would not be able to see any of what was going on. But I want to show it to you, and like, it's kind of scary, and I want you to understand why I think it's so scary. Yeah. Smuggy chat with the beaver comment. Yeah. It's a beautiful and highly detailed game. Yeah, my computer crashes regularly while I'm trying to play Sea of Thieves. It's like too warm in here, and I need to like clean my entire computer out. Spooky, scary skeletons. It's the sharks that get me. Like, I'm just swimming around and suddenly there's a shark and I'm like, I am gonna fucking scream. But usually I'm playing with other people, so I can't like freak out about it. What scares you about it? The thalassophobia. Like, the ocean of it is what I don't like. The vast empty spaces of water and the being underwater and the perspective issues with needing to look 360 degrees around your body to ensure that there are no imminent dangers. It's the thalassophobia. I don't really even like Subnautica in the gameplay. So I wouldn't enjoy that. But Subnautica does have the same vibes, where it's like a horror game, basically. I have the ocean phobia. I'm doing my best, okay? I feel like it's fairly manageable as far as phobia goes. There was a spot of positive news last week that I thought would be worth looking at. There were 2 voice actors who voiced Uncle Iroh back in the Avatar: The Last Airbender days. I think that Iroh might be my favorite character, and the voice actor who was playing him initially, whose name is Mako, I believe, he died while he was like between seasons, I think. And, you know, it's very emotional. We all know the story about the Leaves from the Vines when he sang that song. People say that he put the real emotion into it because he was crying over his like cancer and his imminent upcoming death, essentially. Very big. Listen, I'm trying to talk about it as abstractly as possible, because if I think about the episode too much, I will start to cry, because my man Iroh can do that to me. So a different actor came in and filled out the last season for Uncle Iroh. And that guy, whose name is Greg Baldwin, really did a very surprising gesture of allied support to the queer community by saying, I see you, I am your ally, I am your friend, I'll fight the monsters beside you, I may be old, but I'm scrappy. And then quotes the character Iroh saying, I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love. Happy Trans Day of Visibility. Uncle Iroh is proud of you. Just very sweet, like very good stuff. And so this is just, we have a little heartwarming moment. Like, a little heartwarming moment. And then you scroll down to the next tweet. And it's, excuse me a minute, and he ats J.K. Rowling with fan art someone made of Iroh giving the middle finger. Like, and then he continues, a word to the monsters. If you come here to spew your bile, your reply will be hidden and you will be summarily blocked. I don't give a shit about your hateful opinions or your sad little life. To reiterate, like, yo, this goes hard. Bro, this goes so hard. Attention monsters, calling me a groomer isn't the flex you think it is. I've always prided myself on my grooming. My hair and mustache are neatly trimmed, my clothes clean with a certain sartorial flair. Google sartorial, lots of letters. Here's 3 more. Go fuck yourself. Like, oh my god, he just keeps going. 1 more for the bigots and simpletons. I've been dealing with ignorant bullies since the 1970s, and you were but a distant gleam in the eye of your father/uncle. You didn't intimidate me then, and you sure as shit don't intimidate me now. Bro, Uncle Iroh went hard. Like, this is hard. Oh my god. Like so many who have been moved and inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, I strive to be more like Iroh on a daily basis. This isn't one of those days. Today is an Aku day. Sorry, not sorry. Oh my god, dude. He's so there. Damn, he said transphobes let Uncle Iroh down. That is a very massive insult. I know. Imagine Uncle Iroh telling you that he thought that you fucking sucked. Dude, like, I'm so happy. I'm so pleased. It feels so good. A lot of these beloved childhood characters in our lives, a lot of these actors and authors and stuff whose work we look up to, we kind of just have to pray that they stay silent about it. It's like, as long as I don't know that you're anti-trans, I just want to not know that you're anti-trans, so don't talk about it. And then occasionally one of them will come out hard in support. And it's just so fucking heartwarming. It just feels so goddamn good. Like, just to reiterate. He's perfect. He's so perfect. I always thought that he did a really great job anyway. You know, he took up that mantle. I don't stand for any hate on Greg Baldwin for his work taking up the mantle from Mako for Uncle Iroh. One of my favorite scenes was voiced by this guy. It was when he hugs Zuko after Zuko comes back. And it's like, so my boy Greg, he brought it home for us. And he is yet to let us down. I didn't get into Airbender, but I'm all about Samurai Jack. I love what a flaming Fago Aku is. I didn't really watch very much Samurai Jack. I watched a bit, but I didn't watch enough of it to have like a sense of continuity in the story. Not in the same way that I've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender multiple times. Coffee is so yummy. Samurai Jack was on hiatus for a few years after the original Aku died because Tartakovsky is an artiste and wouldn't settle for good enough. Rhiannon Pratchett said that Terry's works, Terry would not have been gender critical. Yeah, I thought that there was some stuff from Terry Pratchett that kind of made it obvious that he would have been trans supportive if it had ever come up. Happy, happy bean juice, happy, happy bean juice, happy, happy bean juice, happy, happy bean juice. That was a Happy, Happy Joy Joy from Ren and Stimpy, parodied to be about coffee bean juice. Sir Terry Pratchett's take on dwarves is very pro-trans. Really? There's an herb I'm trying to get in a mob dense area and I keep pulling random ads. Yeah, sucks. Okay, yeah, here's the quote. All dwarfs have beards and wear makeup. Or sorry, all beards have... Oh my god, I can't fucking talk or read. All dwarfs have beards and wear up to 12 layers of clothing. Gender is more or less optional. So it's clear that he doesn't really give that much of a shit. Yeah, there was discourse a while back where TERFs tried to claim Terry Pratchett for some reason, and his entire family and everyone that knew him shut that shit down. I can't read anything further about this wiki because apparently Discworld is on the fucking list because you all insist that I should read it, and you're not wrong, I should read Terry Pratchett. But so I can't read anything else about this page, but I acknowledge that this is a page about a female dwarf with a beard. Like, I'm acknowledging that that's what the purpose of you sending me that was. I'm getting my links. Links. Oh yeah, we have a couple of follow-ups we gotta do today. Does she have chosen pronouns? Really? Yeah, I can't read any details. Don't forget Femboy Link. Femboy link. Femboy link. Gotta be careful with this. We stan a femboy link. We stan. You gotta be careful Googling something like femboy link when you're on a stream. Oh, that's super tiny. Smuggy true. Yeah, let's stop that. Let's stop that before we get too carried away. Shh. Oh yeah, I keep. Oh, I want to watch this.
True.
No. I do want to watch this video from Mama. I just really liked Demon Mama's idea about how, you know, smaller streamers or like streamers in general should respond to each other's content, and that could be a good way to boost cross-contamination even if we're not doing collabs actively. And I think that's a really good idea, and I want to do it more. I think that's a very good call. Michael Knowles noises. I know. He do be looking submissive and breedable. Yeah, he works as transfem, transmasc, or generally NB, and definitely does not work as a cis person. Yeah, even as just Link, the way that Link is not cis. Like, that is a gender fluid king. Ah, yes, soy vanilla latte is 3-bean soup. 3-bean soup. Drinking water. Here's what I have on the list for today, aside from what we've already talked about, okay? And we might not be able to get to all of it. There's the abortion pill thing. I don't even know if that's something that is super relevant to my channel. It's just like a thing. Run away and pull more kobold. Yeah, kobolds. I saw a meme that was like peak masculinity and it was Samus, and peak femininity and it was Link. True. Transphobes are just jealous that they've been tricked into conforming. Honestly, they do seem really jealous, don't they? Hit like on the stream if you've ever thought to yourself that I think that these transphobes are just jealous that I am living my life in a free and unencumbered way, and they are living their lives according to their like weird Christian values. Yeah, we like Samus. She's tall. So here's what we have for today. There's the Bud Light follow-up a little bit. I thought I saw a funny video and thought maybe we'll do maybe like add a little bit of commentary, or maybe not, I don't know, about Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney. Mulvaney. I know it's Mulvaney, I'm just being funny. Queuing Chaya Rychik talking about how sexductive the LGBT community is. We're very sexductive. She's canonically 6'7" and 200 pounds. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, mommy. Sorry. Tennessee drag ban. Yeah. You just cannot type right now, Mama Mephistopheles. Unfortunately, many of my peers suddenly hate Bud Light, but for the wrong reason to hate Bud Light. I just think that some people have been kind of supportive, and it's kind of cute that people have been more supportive than expected. Yeah, I'm a mommy, as in I don't know how to work my fucking phone and type coherently. You got like bimbo vibes a little bit. Just a little bit. Tiny bit of bimbo vibes. You know, it took me a second to remember what the word was for bimbo. Because, you know, obviously we all have himbo. I say and think himbo way more often. And then thembo is the next follow-up. I was like, what's the one for girls? Oh, yeah. Bud Light being obnoxiously gay is super on brand. Please look at some old Spuds McKenzie commercials. Hermbo, exactly. Hermbo. MILF. No, MILF is distinct from bimbo. Bimbo doesn't mean older. Bimbo just means dumb and cute and well-meaning. That's the greatest compliment I've ever received. I'm a bimboy. A bimboy. I like that too. Bimboy is good. I want to see some more Bud Light stuff. Is there... I want to... Wait, are there any good... Here, let me go to here. I just want to add a little bit of a meme section because at the end of the segment, because we recorded the segment last week, and I'm going to follow up on it with just a little bit of a meme segment, so I want to see if there's any, like, funny Bud Light things. Like, there was some country music person who removed Bud Light from their tour. They were like, we're not doing any more sponsorships from Bud Light. I saw y'all talking about this, this Bud Light response. I love Bud Light. I don't give a shit who their spokesman is. Gay, tranny, it does not matter to me. Everyone has a right to be happy. If you can find love in this fucked up world, good for you. I'm drinking Bud Light. I saw y'all tweeting about this, like, give him the slur card. He gets all of our slur cards. He's allowed to use them. He's got the spirit. He's in the right place. Like, listen, I love this man. He's great. And here's another one. Here's another lady who's very, 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 very amusing. Oh yeah, he gets the slur pass. He's allowed. He's in the community now. He's an honorary member. And so is this lady. Here, let me get the volume shit figured out here.
So I'm just gonna tell him, Bud Light. Bud Light.
What's Bud Light?
Bitch, you don't like it. Go home then.
She's perfect. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my God, I know. I know. I know she's so sloshed. She's so sloshed, but listen, they've got the spirit. They've got the spirit. It's so encouraging with everything else, with all the posturing from Kid Rock and all of the dumb shit. Like, it's, and like, whoever the country music guy who canceled the sponsorship with Bud Light on his music tour, like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Where are my lights? I can't believe I don't have my lights on. Maybe I just won't. Yeah, it's fine. We're not doing lights today. Yeah, bitch, you don't like it. Go home then. So good. Of course, none of this will make me drink Bud Light. Oh, for sure. And, like, yeah, I mean, for the record, Bud Light does donate to Republican candidates and stuff, so it's not like it's not like they're all for gay rights and stuff. They will advertise to us out of one side of their mouth and fund politicians who vote against our interests with the other side of their mouth, but it's still funny. Every company does that. Who cares? I don't drink Bud Light because it sucks. You know, the one time a year that I really drink beers that aren't the stouts that I like to drink. Like, I enjoy my stouts. I don't know, actually. I think I don't enjoy my stouts as much as I think I do because they just make me so fucking tired. I used to interpret that feeling as like, oh, these beers make me feel more drunk, but they just make me fucking tired. It's the tannins. So I actually think I would prefer beers maybe that are strong still, but that have fewer tannins instead of the stouts that I usually drink. But when I drink light beer, it's Keystone Light. Because one of my very good friends drinks Keystone, and there's one time of year that I drink beers like that, and it's at a summer party, like a barbecue, camping barbecue outside. Stouts are too bitter for me. Yeah, I am liking the coffee stouts stuff. It's such a heavy beer. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't enjoy drinking anymore. I am not enjoy drinking beer anymore. Oh, nice. I actually decided to have an entire drink for the first time last night. I've never done more than literally one sip at a time. How was that? I imagine that it probably wasn't too difficult. I'm broke. I drink what's cheapest. Yeah, I guess, like, technically a bottle of vodka lasts longer than a 6-pack of beer. But it's also about pacing. A beer forces you to pace yourself. You have to drink a little bit at a time. Yeah, beer helps with pacing quite a bit. If I make myself a martini, it tastes good, I like it, I drink it too fast, and then I'm fucking drunk. Fortunately, I haven't had a drink in months. Congrats! I had a 6-pack last week, but it felt like garbage, so I have to find a different go-to beer if I'm gonna drink at all. The liquor makes me sick. The beer comes with water already in. Exactly. Beer is helpful to you if you are like me and you want a little bit of calories. It definitely helps you get to your calorie goal at the end of the day. If you're trying to lose weight, beer is terrible for you. You gotta drink vodka sodas. I've just been doing edibles, which is way cheaper. Nice. Nice. I guess I technically could go to Missouri and try some stuff. I could, like, buy something and then hang out at my dad's all day and, like, try out some of their products. But that also just involves driving to Missouri more and more often, which I don't want to do. A bag of 10 10-milligram edibles cost me $15 and lasts over a week because I only need one a day. Nice. You just, like, eat one and then, like, you're good for the rest of the day. Excuse me. Am I burpy? Is burpee going to happen? No. A case of beer costs $25 by comparison, and I will not have it anymore 2 days later. I'm a big fan of craft beer, but can't stand mass-produced lagers. You might want to try brown ales if stouts are a little too heavy. The beer that I usually drink is a Scotch barrel-aged stout. And it's the tannins, I think, in it that make me... It's that it makes me tired and feel shitty instead of, like, nice and drunk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't... Like, whiskey doesn't make me feel as much of that drunk and tired feeling. And it's true of the fucking dirty martinis as well, which I think might be because of the tannins in the vermouth or something. I don't know. What's up, Prosy Rosie? Are we finally having the alcohol segment? I mean, I talk about alcohol on and off. I don't know. I don't have any... Bourbon is delicious. It's fine. It depends on the bourbon, I guess. It's not really something I drink for taste. I'm not really sitting there sipping on a bourbon. I'll, like, if I have a shot of whiskey, I'll, like, drink half of it and then drink it and then drink the other half of it and then it's gone. Not quite like a shot, but also I'm not trying to sit there and sip on it. What's that one really shitty brand of white beer that everyone hates? White? I don't know. Pabst Blue Ribbon is blue. That's the one that people talk shit on a lot, right? I was just having a Christian rebound. We still talking Christianity. We did talk about it a little bit earlier. I mostly was just wanting to have a title that acknowledges that today is Easter. And sometimes my stream titles are less related to what we intend to talk about. White Claw is not beer, it's seltzer. Baphomet, you were talking about Pabst? Okay, well, there you go. It's the one that people talk shit about all the time, right? I think Pabst Blue Ribbon is crisp. It's quite crisp. So I enjoy that. Happy Big Bunny Hiding the Unborn Children of Chickens Day. Here in Saskatchewan, Pilsner is stupidly popular. Aren't Pilsners, like, bitter? Aren't those, like, really hoppy? I don't like hoppy beers. IPAs, ugh, too much. If I buy beer, it's going to be either PBR or Bud Light. Hoppy Beer Day. Happy Beer Day to you. Apparently, Happy Birthday is no longer copyrighted, so I can sing Happy Birthday on the stream if I want to. I found that out recently. I saw the Twitter Christians were very upset about Google's homepage not being Easter themed. Isn't it like 3 different religious holidays this weekend? It's like Passover, Ramadan, and Easter all on the same thing. What's your favorite drink? Prosy, part of the conversation that we've been having here is about how I don't even enjoy drinking the way that I used to anymore. Like, it's easier not to do it because I don't, like, the things that used to be my favorite drink are, like, they make me feel shitty now. I don't, you know, I'm trying to figure out how much I even want alcohol to be part of my life right now. The best beer is Mug Root Beer. I am going to have to disagree. The best beer is Barks Root Beer. When are Twitter Christians not upset? When are Twitter people not upset? Twitter people are just kind of always upset. Yeah, I'm a Barks liker. You know what? Barks has caffeine in it. Actually, A&W is better than Mug. I had A&W cream soda recently, and it fucking sucked. And I was like, wow, this is like syrup. It was barely drinkable when it was freshly cold out of the fridge, and the moment that it started to cool down, it was disgusting. Barks has Bite. You know, the Bite is caffeine. Ginger beer. I don't know that I've ever had ginger beer. I should try to find out whether ginger is something that I could incorporate, because it's supposed to be really healthy, isn't it? Ginger is supposed to be really good for you. I rarely have ginger. Ginger beer is just spicier ginger ale. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even have ginger ale very often. Candied ginger is pretty good. A&W root beer is nice because it's, like, milder. Not as sweet as Mug or Barks. Ginger is a, quote, superfood. So yeah, someone suggested I should put ginger in my smoothies, and I was like, ooh, that doesn't sound good. Like, that sounds like a little bit much. Okay, so we had a little bit of a Bud Light follow-up. I kind of wanted to do a little follow-up segment to the Tennessee expels senators thing, because when we covered this on Thursday, only one of the senators had been expelled, and it remained to be seen what was going to happen with the other 2, you know? Have you ever had bold ginger ale? It's with more ginger. No, I haven't. I've had regular ginger ale, and it was okay. I would want to try it again, because my tastes have definitely changed. My phone is making noise at me. Phone, phone, why do you make so many noises? Stop doing that, please, now. Is it true that American soda doesn't have caffeine, and that's why Mountain Dew is so popular? Yeah, no, that is not true, Captain Cougar. A lot of sodas have caffeine in them. It's more normal for soda to have caffeine than for it not to. But in is it in Utah that there are like specialty, even the normally caffeinated products, they sell a caffeine-free version because there's so many Mormons in Utah and Mormons don't do caffeine? They recommend ginger for those like super green smoothies. Yeah, I've seen that. I seem to recall that Mountain Dew was the only soda without caffeine in Canada. I thought that Mountain Dew had caffeine in it. I wonder what kind of business Starbucks does in Utah. That's a good question. Hold on. How many Starbucks in Utah? Okay, so here's all the states. Alaska has 49 Starbucks in it. Arizona has 488. Arkansas has 55. So the interesting thing to see is going to be the population comparison. Arizona has 488 Starbucks for 7 million people. Okay, and then let's compare. Let's scroll down here to Utah and see if we can compare against some other states. Okay, so here's one. There's 25 in South Dakota, which has 800,000 people. 180 of them in Tennessee for a population of 6.7 million. Texas has over 1,000 Starbucks locations for 28 million people. Utah has 101 locations for 3 million people. I feel like that's a pretty normal amount of Starbuckses. It's like 180 for 6.7 million in Tennessee versus 101 for 3 million in Utah. That seems pretty normal. There's only 8 in Vermont. There's only 8 total. I imagine they just stock more decaf. Potentially, yeah. Hello, Warp. Welcome in. And what's up, Pixie Cat? Yes, Mountain Dew better have caffeine in it. I've been using it to stay awake for 10 years. Why so few in Arkansas, I wonder? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Vermont probably has a long history of local coffee shops. Mountain Dew used to be called liquid highlighter in college as a joke because it has so much caffeine. Classmates drank it to stay awake studying for exams. However, Mountain Dew and Mellow Yellow more so, has been linked to reduced sperm count in users who drink it regularly. I have heard that, yes. It's the yellow 5 food dye. Just washed my hair earlier, so I'm gonna let my hair down and finish drying. Got out of the shower and then I had to put my hair back so that I could brush my teeth. You know how it goes. So, what else did we have? We did a little bit of a Bud Light follow-up. Oh yeah, I should get some links together for the Tennessee expels senators thing. Tennessee is just doing all kind of crazy shit right now. Of course, I never wanted kids, so when I heard about Mountain Dew that it reduces sperm count, I was like, damn, I wish I liked Mountain Dew. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Tennessee. Expelling senators. Oh, that's funny. Tennessee is trending. The real thing is that Mountain Dew only weeds out the weak sperm. Only the strong can withstand. I wonder what it is in Mountain Dew that causes that, if it's true. I live in Oregon. It's pretty nice. It's pretty and nice out here in the PNW. Wasn't there a Nazi rally of some kind somewhere in the PNW recently? Was that near Seattle? Dugenics, if you will. Yes. I would like to visit someday. I've never been there, so I want to visit someday. And then I will consider living there. I mean, I think that truly what I would prefer to happen is I would prefer if the place where I have lived my entire life was just like a better place to live. I do wish that. But I will go to somewhere else if I need to. Oregon has a massive Nazi problem owing to it being founded literally as an ethno-state. Oh, interesting. Did not know that. I've been planning on moving to PNW for years, but so much shit just got in the way, and now my prospects are looking like probably gonna die in Tennessee. I mean, hopefully we can make good lives wherever we want to make them. We just gotta work toward it. I want to move back to PNW. Texas sucks. I just wish that Kansas was a better place to live, you know? I don't dislike it here, if it were. And, like, here's the other thing. I mentioned earlier that we're kind of facing down the barrel here in Kansas of having some fucked up anti-trans laws pass. And the thing about that is that, like, oh man, there's like several different directions I could go with that. I can't remember which one I was going to go with. Oh, it is getting more difficult for visibly trans people here outside of strictly the legal issues as well. Like, a trans girl that I know who is in her 20s and lives in Kansas. I met her at work when I was working a few years ago. She just posted on Facebook about how she's having an increase in people, like, asking her about her genitals out of nowhere and telling her, like she was at a bar and someone told her, like, oh, if you were looking for trans acceptance here, you're in the wrong place. Like, the fact that people I know are for sure experiencing more interpersonal issues, like, it's rough. I've been fantasizing about winning the lottery by spending time looking at house floor plans online. I know, the fucking things that we fantasize about. Like, if we had a lot of money, we would just buy a house in a safe place and then, like, live quietly. Ooh, oh no, the trans agenda. Uh-oh. I've literally never asked anyone about their genitals. Right. It seems like it wouldn't be hard to do. But yeah, if you're a visibly trans feminine person, you know, and she was lamenting, like, she was like, I don't even try to be really out there with my transness. Like, I dress really in a low-key way. Like, I know this trans girl wears t-shirts and jeans. You know, she does not go out of her way to hyper-feminize herself. And, like, much like all of us, she did not choose to be trans. None of us chose to be trans. We chose to be honest with ourselves, but we didn't choose to be trans. And I've always kind of felt like, oh, you know, at least there are a couple of blue spots in Kansas. You know, you can go to Kansas City, you can go to Lawrence, you can go to Topeka, and they are safe places to be because they're liberal or they're democratic, whatever. But it's not like a clean line. It's not like, you know, it's not like you walk into... It's not like you go to Wyandotte County in Kansas City there and it's just, there aren't any Republicans anymore because it's a Democratic county. Or, like, you know, there's no clean delineation. So even if you're in a liberal place, a blue county, there's still going to be right-wingers who are there. Lawrence, the Winchesters say trans rights. Are they from Lawrence? the Supernatural boys. That's kind of funny. Assigned baller by birth, ABAB. I found this really cool open floor plan 3-story house with an elevator and a master bedroom walk-in closet right next to the laundry room. And I'm like, just modify these blueprints to add a door between the closet and the laundry. Fuck yeah. That sounds so good. Yeah, I might, I'm probably gonna need to start before too long, like, potentially trying to make serious plans for what my next place to live is. Because, yeah, my teenage siblings, I want them to be able to have a place to live when they graduate, or maybe even before they graduate, honestly. I want them to have the opportunity to get out of the space that they're in. So I'm basically, like, potentially looking at trying to get a place that'll be big enough for me to take them for next year. So, like, that's like my short-term housing plans is, like, I need to start looking and figuring out what sort of housing will be available. Potentially, you know, I could be potentially moving again in December, which I don't really want to do this, like, moving once a year bullshit. That doesn't sound exciting to me. But I do need a bigger place. This place is, like, functionally a studio apartment, so it's like, yeah, it's like functionally a studio, so. I saw a story briefly about a trans woman going through an airport in the Middle East somewhere and was punched in the groin by the security staff to determine if she was actually female. It's not like it doesn't hurt to punch someone's pussy. It does hurt. Luck's gonna establish a Friends of Dorothy Gale Rainbow House. No, I don't know what that is. I know what Friends of Dorothy means, but I don't know. It's like, That's ambitious, and I wish you luck. That'd be kick-ass. Yeah, well, I mean, it's ambitious, and it's also, it doesn't really feel optional to me. Like, having a place for my siblings to go feels like whether or not I want it to happen, it absolutely has to happen, so it's going to. We got wild pussy punchers. It's getting kooky. Indeed, Morgan. Jesus was delivered by a bunny and laid in an egg. In that order. He was given birth by a bunny and then put into an egg. I don't need a lot of space, TBH. If it were a nice studio, I'd be cool with it. I just want to get a nice condo in Seattle someday. Probably unattainable, though. That seems like it would be really expensive. Raymond, it hurts in a different way for someone with a vagina to get punched in the crotch. Because, like, the way that your nervous system is set up, you have, like, your testicles are functionally an inner organ that just kind of exist in a flesh sac outside your body. So the pain that you have when you get kicked in the testicles is very similar to the pain that I would have if I was punched directly in the ovary. You know, it's my inner organs. But it's not like it doesn't hurt. It's, you know, like if you got punched in the dick specifically and not in the balls, that still hurts, right? But it hurts in a different way. And like all of the nerves that are spread out across the entirety of your dick are concentrated into a little bean about that big on a person with a vulva. So yeah, like getting kicked or punched there fucking hurts. Yeah, it turns out nerves hurt. Goodness. Wait, transmask Jesus? Jesus is an egg? But yeah, I don't need a lot of space for myself. I need more space for the teens. And I was thinking about that a little bit more, and it's like I really don't want that to last very long, per se. I want to help them transition into independent living and then maybe try to like get them to a point where they can independently live. But again, like, do we need to get out of this country? Like, So, you know, am I going to need to stay living with them so that we can all compile our resources so that we can move to Seattle, and then I can send them on their way to go find their own roommates and stuff? Because I don't want that to be like a long-term solution. It's just that they need the additional support as they do college, you know? But like, so the next 5 years of my life are going to be basically dedicated toward getting them ready to be in the world. Potentially the next 5 years. And like trying to figure out if we're getting the fuck out of this country and stuff. The fact that there are people out there who are still surprised or even shocked that kicking someone in the clitoris actually hurts is beyond me. Yeah, it's like the height of experience to be touched in a pleasurable way there. Can you imagine the height of negative experience it would be to be like kicked there or punched there? All this talking about getting punched in the balls is making my stomach hurt. Ah, sorry, we'll move on. I don't know if we're gonna... I don't know how long of a stream this is gonna be today. I hadn't decided. Yeah, CBT, exactly. Beans, you say? CBT, clit and bussy torture. Varaxiana says, okay, speaking of housing and mutual aid, I don't want to dox myself or anything, but how do I get any of my friends to be roommates? I'm having trouble getting helping hands by asking my friends directly. I mean, I feel like asking directly is the only thing you can do. Like, it might just be an opportunity thing. Like, maybe all of your friends are currently locked into a lease. You know, you have to be on the same page with a lot of... Oh, yeah, be careful about having friends as roommates. It can backfire for your friendship. Yeah, living with someone is really tricky, and you have to be able to communicate and do things in a particular kind of organized way. You have to be respectful of the mutual spaces. You have to be on the same page about COVID risk, which is part of why this is like part of why I'm not really excited about having 2 young adults living in my house, is that they're going to want to start doing social things and like going to class at college and going to their jobs and then bringing fucking COVID back into my house. So I'm honestly not really enthusiastic about that part of living with other people. I have complete control over my risk and exposure at my own house. They say the true test of a strong friendship is living with your friends. Yeah, for sure. My best living situation was with a friend I didn't really like. You know, Left at London, right? She is a musician, and she was talking about how trauma negatively impacts queer people and the queer community and living situations in particular. And she was saying that her most healthy and stable living situation was when she lived with 3 cishet guys. And it's not like there were never any issues where they said something insensitive, but that they could have conversations about that. And and they were able to get along and understand, and they had good chore sheets and stuff. And like living with other trans people and other queer people is really difficult because of the weaponized trauma, effectively. Sometimes true friendship is knowing you absolutely should not live together. Absolutely, Max. If you know you live in common spaces, very much the same style, it can work. But yeah, sometimes better to find a roommate specific for lifestyle compatibility and hopefully become friends after. I got COVID from my roommates and now brain no worky. Right. The risk of actual brain damage involved is staggering. I told my partner before we were even dating that I will not allow them to move in with me because I really like them and I want it to work out. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see as well because of my marriage and trying to make it work. And like, I do want, if I have like a long-term partner, I do want to live together. I think I want to have the ability to have separate spaces. Like I want enough space in the place that we could like, I'm going to close my door and be in a separate area. But but I do want to live with that person. I enjoy living alone, but I would rather have the comfort of knowing that, like, if I stop breathing in my sleep, someone will be there, you know, and like, being able to just casually spend time together without having to, oh, let me get all my shit together and go over to your apartment kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's why my lottery compound idea has multiple houses. Ideally, my house is just me living there, but with an open door policy for people living in the compound. Yeah, separate living spaces. And maybe some stuff is mutual. Like, maybe we all, like, try to help each other by, like, okay, we're all gonna clean so-and-so's kitchen this day. Like, you know, that kind of thing could be cool. But other than that, like, I want to, like, have the option of saying, no, there is not gonna be anyone in my space today. There's value to that, for sure. Oh, by the way, does anyone have any recommendations for a HEPA filter that I could get on Amazon? Or if any of you have one that you would be able to get on Amazon for me if you wanted. I could afford one probably, but I need maintenance workers to be able to come into my apartment. I mean, they want to do some maintenance on one of my utilities, and it is going to require them to come into my apartment afterwards. Like, and they said on the notification, like, yeah, we're going to follow all CDC guidelines. Like, do CDC guidelines involve masking right now? I'm about to have to deal with a stranger in my place who, like, may or may not wear a mask. And I have to be here for it to let them into the place. Because it's like there's a difference between, like, the utility person and the landlord. So it's definitely safer if you're living with someone else. Safety in numbers helps to share work around the house as well. Yeah, I mean, if you're sharing work, like, I did most of the housework with my partner, and it was definitely tough to keep up with cleaning after 2 people. Biohazard time, true. The Blue Air filter, then have the filter on a 6-month subscription. Blue Air? Oh, they're expensive. That's quite expensive. This is the thing. Decent HEPA filters are going to cost, like, more than $200, and, like, I don't have that right now. I don't even manage to clean up after myself. I mean, it's difficult to clean up after oneself. I'm getting pretty good at it, but sometimes I do leave, like, a couple of tuna forks on my desk. Answer the door with a gas mask on. Oh, hold on. Itchy. When the inside of your nose is itchy. Ugh. Cease and desist, sir. Okay, thank you. No, yeah, like $200 for, like, a filter that is gonna clean viruses out of the air. I have a little Honeywell air filter, has a couple filters in it, and one of them is HEPA. We're not saying just the replacement filter part. It's like the entire unit that cleans the air. $60 for the replacement filter, but the air purifier is like $200, $250. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks. It's like, am I about to have to drop $200 on a HEPA filter just so that I can have, like, some fucking stranger that I don't want in my apartment come into my house? Like, it's fucking annoying. The little Honeywell unit was like $150. Okay, maybe I'll look that one up. Honeywell HEPA filter. There are cheaper ones, but I can't recommend going cheaper on a HEPA filter. It might be worth it. Breathing clean air is healthy. That's true. And it'll also remove allergens in the air and maybe make it to where I don't wake up, like, with a bunch of fucking drainage in my throat in the morning. You might be able to find a used unit on Craigslist and then replace it with a new filter. Potentially. Maybe. I'll fucking have to think about it more. Do you live near blooming pear trees? That will give the sniffles. Yeah, I talked about it on stream earlier this week. We have those Bradford trees all over Kansas, and they're blooming right now, and it fucking sucks. It seems like an appliance that people would bail on even if it works because they don't want to keep up with the filters. That's true. I got a humidifier at the thrift store recently. What was I about to look up? What am I doing? Oh, yeah. It's worth it to do a quick little browse. Just put a clean room, wear protective clothing notice on your front door. That's not like legally binding or anything. I could probably just provide an N95. I could probably just say, hey, I'm high risk. Can you please, like, here, let me give you my $4 mask and, like, let you have that, even though your fucking company should be providing, like, your company should be providing personal protective equipment. Like, why is that my responsibility? Because I had that happen recently. My actual landlord was having the regular maintenance person replace the furnace filter or some shit like that. And I was calling like, hey, you know, what's the deal with the fact that I don't want people in my fucking apartment because of COVID? And the person was like, oh, well, if you gave him a mask, he would wear one. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, I don't have any extra masks right now. And, like, also, why am I having to provide PPE for your person? Like, in my own sacred space inside my apartment. Do you know about using humidifiers as a means of virus defense? No, I have not heard of this. But I do know that my skin was really dry and my mucous membranes were quite dry. So, hail hydrate, both in the drinking and in the breathing. You could just tape a filter to a fan. I actually do have that currently. I have a furnace filter on a fan that runs, but that's not, it's not a HEPA filter though. Not very communist of you, Lux, not wanting COVID, I know. Yeah, my complaint, Soy Boy, is that, like, I probably could reach out ahead of time and ask them to wear a mask and then, like, offer one. Like, I don't appreciate that this is the situation that I'm being put in. That, like, that I have to be like, please wear a mask. And, oh, if you don't bring your own, like, and if if they bring their own mask, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be a surgical mask. Which is not effective enough. But then I have to give them one of my expensive N95s. When they should be more conscientious of the fact that they're bringing disease risk into someone else's house. And fresh air helps a lot. I know. That's not the point. I'm gonna do everything I reasonably can, but I have to have them in here, and so, like, I'm gonna have to, like, I'm having to deal with other possibilities. Like, having the windows open is one thing. Having a HEPA filter. Having a fan. Like, asking them to... Yeah, Lux just used bear spray. This is the perfect opportunity for the bear spray. No space is sacred. Everyday disabled people aren't lined up and shot as a begrudging concession from capitalists. Yeah. They don't want to give... Why are hearts happening on my YouTube chat? Why are hearts happening? Is anyone else seeing that, or is it just me? It sprays bears, true. Snake Discovery Review. Is this a HEPA filter?
Yeah.
Wait, what is this? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you, EB. Very nice. I'm giving out hearts. Oh, okay. Thank you, Christy. What's up, Gorge? How you doing? I like bears and the animal, too. I think the only... Yeah, you know, I was gonna say the only time that you would be able to have a sacred space where the person who, you know, if you don't have a person who owns the place telling you, okay, we're going to send people in, whether or not you want it. I was gonna say that it's like you have to own your house, but even if you own your house, the police can force their way in without a warrant and even kill you or your kids, and like there's no consequences for them. Bobby says, some have noticed a direct relationship of their quality of work and their degree of maskness. Haha, is that a joke about masculinity? Wait, what? What are we... What? Oh, gosh. There might be some air purifiers on Craigslist that I might be able to snag, but... My old landlord just refused to fix anything, so no workmen in my place ever. I mean, I don't do maintenance requests because I don't want people in here. I will literally, like, buy my own products and, like, do quick solutions to problems in my space before I will ask. Unless it's something major, like, if there's bed bugs or if, like, there's a fire, I will tell them about it, but, otherwise, I don't want my landlord in my space, like, or the maintenance people. I just don't want to deal with it. I have thousands of dollars of equipment in here. Literal thousands of dollars that I need for my job. So that's the other thing, is, like, I don't really feel comfortable just being like, oh yeah, I will leave and let them enter my space while I'm not here. That's not really a solution for me. Oh, it's that better workers care more about safety. Oh, okay. That's a good point. I couldn't find a lawyer who would take my rental dispute case, so here goes revenge plan C, wish me luck. Uh-oh. Don't get in trouble. I lived in a condo for a year in a gated community. It was expensive and terrible. Repairmen went in my unit while I was at work and traumatized my pet lizard. Also, they drank a 6-pack of beer out of my refrigerator. It's crazy to me how landlords always claim that the maintenance they do is what justifies their parasitic existence, and yet they don't even do that. It's like they're asking for the guillotine. Right. I've always wondered that, like, you know, if your rent at a place is $800 a month, is like, am I paying you $800 of maintenance each month? I don't think so. You can't even use the oh, well, you're paying me $800 to be on call, or like, because when you move out, I might need to replace the carpet. Like, you know, the thing, I saw something recently that I think was really a good point, is that folks say, you know, my rental income is investment income, and that's why it should be taxed a certain way, whatever. But if it's investment income, then that means that you are supposed to have losses sometimes. Like, the way that investments work is that you put in some money, and sometimes you get more money out, but it's a volatile market, and so sometimes you don't get money out. So rental income can't be investment income if there's no risk, if you never have any loss. I live in social housing in the UK. The landlord is the local council, and they are terrible at maintaining their properties. Of course, because everything is done for profit. They're not making very much money off of you in social housing. Oh, gosh. I feel like we might chill for a little while longer, but I am finding that I'm a bit tired today, and I have, like, some editing that I definitely need to get done tonight because I want to have content prepped for tomorrow. And we did plenty of politics stuff this last week, so I've got some catching up to do on editing. Ooh. Zuki Tanuki says, ditto on the Council and Housing Association. I currently have some kind of waterbound infection from contaminated water the council refused to sort out. Oh my god. Like, your pipes are dirty? That's not good. Lux, have you considered that losing money makes them sad? They get so big sad when they can only buy 700 houses instead of 800, or their neighbor can get a bigger yacht than them. Just think of their big sad eyes. I know, they're like this. They're like, hold on. Where is he? It's like this. You know? That's what they do. They're big sad. Look at those landlords. They're so sad. Big sad. But I want my source of free money. They want free money. I want free money. It took them a week to fix it. The trouble is that this thing takes weeks to get out of your body system, so still waiting to get rid. Oh, that's no good, Zuki. Hopefully it happens soon. They have the divine right to profit. Yeah, they don't have the right to make money. No one has the right to make money. Yeah, if there's anything that can be displayed, that can be shown... Oh my god. My hair doesn't look right if I tuck it behind my ear. If there's one thing that can be shown by the fact that trans people don't have enshrined, protected workplace protections, that, like... you genuinely do not have the right to make money. You literally do not have the right to a job. Yeah, landlords should get real jobs. Bunch of lazy welfare queens. Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, there's plenty of politics stuff to... I guess I do want to cover Tennessee briefly. So just as a brief follow-up to the talking about Tennessee Republicans trying to expel Democratic representatives, which we were talking about earlier in the week. They're both named Justin. Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, both Democratic representatives, young black men. They were both expelled from the body. There were 3 politicians that participated in these anti-gun protests where they actually took the protest into the room, the sacred room of decision-making. And because of the fact that they participated in this protest, they were like leaders in this protest, their conduct was deemed inappropriate, as we've already talked about. And so, yeah, they voted whether or not to expel these 3 lawmakers. Two of whom, like I said, they're the Justins, and the third of which was a white woman. What was her name? I don't have her name off the top right now. Come on now, what's her name? All of the coverage is about the young black men. What the fuck is her name? Why is this so hard to find? Seems a little bit absurd. Just all of the headline content is about the young men. So I'm gonna have to actually dig into an article to find out her name. Okay, and now the whole page is reset, and I can't find any of the stuff that I was looking at earlier either. Anyway, so TLDR, the white woman was not expelled, but both of these young black men were expelled, and they continue to show videos of them, and they seem to be really accomplished speakers. That seems to be part of the reason why they want to get rid of these folks, is that they basically, they at least one of them is basically a guest preacher. Justin Pearson, who's the one with the afro that you'll see photos of, these are the Justins. This is Justin Pearson, and this is Justin Jones. Justin Pearson talks like Martin Luther King, like Jr. He for sure has that affect, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't like it. But he really heavily, like, there's some obvious kind of inspiration, some very obvious 1960s inspiration for Representative Justin Pearson with the afro and the way that he speaks and everything. But they're seeking re-election. If they do have to have special elections to address the expulsion, they are going to run through that and keep trying and keep fighting. Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot else to add on this one. I just wanted to do a little touch and go follow up on the fact that they did expel both of the young black men and not the female. Not the white female lady. There's something upsetting about the fact that my nudes on Reddit get like 10 upvotes apiece, but a random throwaway comment I made now has 1,800 upvotes. Oh my god. Reddit is healing. True. Okay. I think that's gonna be it for today's news. And honestly, I think that might go ahead and be it for today's stream as well. I am definitely starting to get the hunger for the lunchtime, and I have talked about plenty of news, and I need to do some editing tonight. So, I appreciate you all for hanging out with me, my sweet horties. My lovely, lovely horties, as Demon Mama might say if it were her community. But it's not. This is not the lovely, lovely imps. This is the horties. So be good, and at least don't get in trouble. And I will see you on Tuesday. It's Tuesday, innit? It's Tuesday. Tuesday, innit?